Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Greg. I am going to go over Bitcoin and tell you my thoughts. And by the way, for those that are enjoying a little bit of time off during the holiday time between Christmas and New Year's, I hope you're enjoying it. If you're in the cryptocurrency market, if you want to take a break or just kind of relax a little bit, obviously it's a great time during the holiday part of the season, but Bitcoin is not going to do too much between now and then. Might have a dump. I don't think you're going to miss much. If you came back on January 10th, wouldn't really miss much, in my opinion. That's how I think about that. But here's one of the things that I did. And by the way, drop a like. I'd be hugely appreciate if you would do that for me. And here's the thing with looking at Bitcoin. Always got to look at the bearish sequence and also a bullish one possibly coming up. Obviously, right now, Bitcoin is bearish and it's going to be going down, in my opinion. I don't think there's any local bottom where it is. Well, you call it local bottom, but it's not the bottom. It's going to go down a little bit more. And just based off what I've looked at in a reasonable analysis of Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is in a descending wedge, slowing in momentum. So here's what Bitcoin's probably going to do. Get rid of that last seller. Last seller and make sure there's no buyers. That's how you find the bottom, right? Sellers are gone and nobody wants to buy it. So Bitcoin just floats. It just floats. And then eventually someone's like, I don't think it's going to go down anymore. Maybe we can buy a little bit. You think we're safe? That's how it works, right? So here's what I'm going to do, or here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to show you. Here's a reasonable expectation that I think is going to be going on. Bitcoin's coming right down. So here's the pattern. Here's a pattern for Bitcoin, okay? Down, and then boom, back down here, boom, and back down there, boom, just like so. That's what I think Bitcoin is going to do. And I'm using these trend lines are probably going to be decent targets for Bitcoin, in my opinion, okay? So here's the trend line right here on a weekly chart, back over here. And then, how it gets down here is anybody's guess, but eventually probably be down like somewhere in that area. And looking at Bitcoin, as long as it stays above the 12,000, pretty good. Best case scenario, it stays above 13,800, 13,900 with wicks down there. Okay. I do not think that this is going to just continue to go like that, guys. Don't think so. I am not planning for that. I am planning for sometime here in the future, whether it's January, probably not January now, or February or March, and then there's going to be possible trade that way for Bitcoin. How it's going to get out of here, it would be nice, it'd be like this. But I want to show you guys something. I'm going to go over the BLX. The longer time frame Bitcoin chart has all the history. The BLX, Brave New Coin Liquid Index. That name even sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Liquid Index. So here's all of Bitcoin. Okay, this is different. This is a different scenario for Bitcoin as far as how it's coming down to do the correction. Okay, so what I mean is that Bitcoin is slowing in momentum in this area. I showed my previous chart that's coming down, slowing in momentum, and you can see that clearly in the RSI. Okay, so here it bounced, it came down, it bounced out of there, and then you can see here how it's coming down. You see how it came down right there, bounced back up, came down, and you can see in this area where it got real boring. Remember, it just went sideways and then it finally spiked out of there and made a hidden bearish divergence coming back down, and we're probably kind of in the same area again. And you can see, something like this with Bitcoin. It might get dragged up a little bit more, but you won't see it move very much in there, okay? You won't see it move very much, and then Bitcoin can do boom, boom, something like that, maintaining that bullish divergence. It's really what you want to see. So I'd say something like so, and then you want to take the trend and maintain a little bit of that bullish. That would be more like exaggerated divergence, okay? So when you have that divergence and you have it here, that's usually a really strong signal for a trend reversal, okay? And the deal is with Bitcoin in this scenario, in my opinion, is that this is taking so long. What's happening, people are getting worn out just because of the amount of time, okay? Especially now. But here's the difference between past bear markets is Bitcoin just did a capitulation dump and it was out of there. You can see clearly just a capitulation dump out of there. So everybody was expecting this right over here, and it's different. It's much different. You can see down over here, you come back down, capitulation dump, went back up, and then went to a long correction. So this bear market, it dumped, and then it just went up onto a wave, corrected it, and got out of there. In this scenario, it dumped, capitulation event, in price. I mean, there's time-based there's time-based capitulation, and then there's the price where it just dumps. Okay, the time is just wear people out. Part of a bear market, like 1970s bear market, as an example. During the 70s, you could have made money if you traded it. Okay, I wasn't like doing anything back then, you know. So obviously, I was just a little boy back then. But if you bought in the 70s at say 1968, and then you held it for 10 years, you didn't make any gains in the 70s. So just basically wear people out. That's what they do. And then it had a three-way move in here to make that base to go in that long run. And then you can see this one here is obviously where Bitcoin was extremely bullish, hyper bullish, came back down into a massive capitulation event and just bounced out of there. Okay. So that's really the difference from all of these right here. It's just slowing in momentum, and it is it's different in the fact that it's just going to be taking its time to get down there, guys. That's once it starts falling, it can get down there, but it's the time in there. And I'm looking at it. What's the best case scenario? Bitcoin comes over here and it just dumps and it's done. But you have to realize it could come down, go sideways into a corrective wave, if you will, and then back down and then do another corrective wave and do it again and take up more time. But the way I'm looking at this whole structure, and like I said, I've looked at various options, and this is the most reasonable structure that Bitcoin is in my opinion. We will see. I got the trend lines on there, and we'll see how this thing ends up at the end of the day, whenever it decides to finish up. Go back and revisit it. Is that the time in here was an extremely long time, and then this is a little miniature version of it right here, okay, to move somewhere, and then it'll come back down, or maybe a little bit beyond the trend line, and then come back down and touch this area of that trend is what I'm going to expect, and that could be a tradable bounce in that area, guys, right there. So, is it going to rip out of there? Here's what I say about that. If Bitcoin comes down here and you start seeing it rip, I would be very highly suspicious of a corrective bounce. So yeah, Bitcoin can rip out of there on a correction for sure. If it's just coming down here and then to establish a base and then go into a new bull market, more than likely it's not going to rip right out of there. It might come down, have a little bit of a rip, and then have a long correction and hang out in that area is my guess. So, of course, everybody wants to go down to the bottom and then rip out of there, especially the bulls. They want to get down there, but you have to be, ready for both options. So, you have to be, when it comes to trading and putting your funds in any asset like this, okay, especially if you're going to be trading you're looking for, like myself, would be looking for maybe Bitcoin might do something like that. I want to trade that. You have to be able to react with it. So, I would not be surprised if it came down and it might come up a little bit, right? And then back down a little bit, maybe over this way and back over this way, making that whole thing a correction. And then maybe it gets out of there a little bit. That could happen. And, when it comes to trading, you have to be able to react to what the market's going to give you. So that's how I look at it, guys. It actually it doesn't look that bad really with Bitcoin and the rest of the markets and the setups that are coming. The only thing that's going to really, really be more of a pain for everybody, if you will, is the amount of time that it could take. Obviously, when it comes to this downtrend that Bitcoin's been in, we're certainly closer to the end than we are at the beginning of it. And it's just slowing up in that momentum. You can look at the indicators, your MACD, your RSI, any other type of momentum indicators, stock RSI, et cetera. And you can see that it's just slowing up down there in momentum, guys. So that's what I'm expecting for. I put on Twitter that end of January to possibly beginning of February timeframe for be checking that out. is what I'm going to be doing, and it could extend out into March. It very well could. And that's really going to be a little bit more of a change because the amount of time that Bitcoin is going to be taking. So November 21, it goes all the way out there. And then this run is not that significant compared to the previous times with Bitcoin, guys. So plan accordingly. Is there going to be a rip? Are you going to make X's like you have in the past with Bitcoin? Probably not, guys. Probably not. Okay. That's just the reality of it, So you're going to have more opportunities in other coins if you're looking for massive gains like that, in my opinion. And they will be there. I can assure you that. They will be there. In the next run, I can assure you, there will be some millionaires made out of it, okay? More than likely, it's probably the people that are hanging around right now. The other ones that left and got tired of, you can already see it in the market, guys. I could already see the change. Like all these people, 10,000, they already left, they already left. Like a lot of them left. They're going to 8,000, 9,000, 6,000, 4,000. Don't hear about them too much anymore. They're gone. They're gone, guys. And some of them are still around. I'll agree with that, some of them, but it wasn't like what it was before. I don't want to see Bitcoin down there, guys, and you don't want to see Bitcoin down to those levels. That's not going to have a good structure look for Bitcoin at all, in my opinion. I could be wrong about that one. I don't think so. That's the other thing is too, here's the other thing is too, is not only you have to look at it from a long-term and short-term holder point of view, is like all the ones that are underwater, now it's under 10,000. They're going to start thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on with Bitcoin? Do I just need to get out of this and just take the loss, run with it? And then you got the long-term holders thinking the same thing. They're going, man, now Bitcoin's down that significant low of 10,000. It's at, let me see, December 2017, it's at 20. Now it's over here, 2023, and it's 10,000. And they're going to start like thinking, maybe there's somewhere else we need to be putting our funds. And then on top of that, any traders that are looking at this structure and they see it down here that have any sense about that will be a little bit more apprehensive to be going into Bitcoin on the long side. Okay. The only people that will be buying, like thinking this is a really, really smoking hot deal if Bitcoin's way down here, okay? Let's say it drops from here like that, will be just your retail investors, okay? Maybe some institutional will go ahead and run with it. That's a possibility, but that's if we only see that, okay? That's shedding this in a little bit of a negative light that I'm looking at, right? Okay. Do I think it's going to get down there? No, I don't. The probability of it not getting down there is really, really high. Okay, the only way it's going to be able to get down there is to finish up into this wedge, do a retrace of 38 to 62% of this whole leg, and then get down there. Okay, which makes it for a really good opportunity. You can trade that bounce, and then you go over here and trade these the shorts and make a ton of money that way, guys. So, all right, so if you miss this on the short side, this over here would be the short side, but that's going to be extremely long, drawn out bear market for Bitcoin. I don't think that's going to happen either. I think the probability is coming down to finish this up, and then it's going to be working its way on possibly doing another run. So, it's back down here, and then, at some point, maybe run up like so, another correction, playing around in here a little bit, and then, there's the next bull run going into 2024, something like that, guys. All right. If you made it all the way to the end, do me a huge favor, drop that like, hit that subscribe button. Peace.